Good morning, students. So, in this, my resources, in this topic of resource management, we now move on to the next part of it, which is how to manage time and energy in the best possible manner. So, for this, as we all know, a person in his daily life has to do many activities, and as a result of this, he has to manage his time as well as the energy consumed to perform the different tasks. So what we find is that if we don't manage our time and energy, we will become unnecessarily tired and will not be able to complete the work in a particular time period. So for this, every individual has to manage time and energy. So management of time will allow a person to complete all his tasks within a given time frame. And we find that before you begin your work, it is very important to make a time plan, estimate the time needed to perform each activity. There should be a fixed time activity, adjust other activities around the fixed time, group together related activities before performing them, check them occasionally if we are within our time limit or are we wasting time in performing those activities. So in this way, we will find that we will be able to manage the time in the best possible manner. Along with management of time, energy management is also very important. Otherwise, the body will suffer from tiredness, and this tiredness can be both physical and mental tiredness. And too much of heavy work will ultimately hamper the other tasks that needs to be performed. So for this, we move on to work simplification as how to perform each activity in the most simple manner. And for this, let us keep certain things in mind when we simplify or follow certain things when we simplify the work. To begin with, first one, changes in hand and body motion. We can change our hands and body motions so that, like for example, if we have to carry a number of things to the same place, we can take a tray or a basket and put all the things together, so we don't have to work up and down to carry the things. This will definitely save the time and energy. Then improve the sequence of work. So here what we find is that we must do better sequencing. That is, what should follow after what? Time and energy. Skills, how to develop skills so that we can practice the tasks, and as a result of this, both time and energy, so that we become skilled in a particular art or a particular job. And as a result of this, the work can be done in the best possible manner. Correct posture is another thing. We spend less expenditure of energy, whereas a bad posture will give us a backache, and at the same time will consume more energy. For example, it is better to hang clothes while keeping the bucket on a comfortable height rather than bending each time on the floor to pick up the clothes from the bucket. So in this way, correct posture of the body definitely helps to save energy and time. Next is change in work. after good management of time and energy, what we find is that we can do a number of tasks at the same time, which we call as dovetailing. We call it as dovetailing. What does dovetailing mean? It means that I can do 2-3 tasks at the same time. For example, a housewife, she can put something to cook in the pressure cooker and put the flame on sim so that the food is being cooked there. At the same time, she can put her clothes in the washing machine so that the clothes are also getting washed at the same time. And third thing, if she has a child at home, she can even look after the studies or help the child to perform his work. So 3 things are being done by your housewife at the same time. So once again I repeat, a housewife at home, instead of doing each task one by one, can do 2 or 3 things at the same time. For example, a housewife can cook food and put the gas flame on sim, and then she can put her clothes in the washing machine for washing, and at the same time also help the child to study. So in this way, 3 tasks are being done at the same time, which is called as dovetailing. This third one is change in place of storage space. So what we can do is that we can organize the things we need for a particular task and store it all together rather than keep it separately. Because this will be a wastage of time, as we will have to look for each of the items whenever we go to perform that particular task. So a worker should be storing all the things needed at the same place, next at a good height, so that you don't have to stretch yourself too much to reach out for it. And the height of the worker has to be kept in mind. Then you have to keep the workplace very organized and attractive so that you'll be motivated to work fast. A dirty place where you go to work, you'll definitely not feel like working. You'll feel like cleaning up the space so that the whole environment is clean and you tend to work faster and spend less time. These days, we are able to get many labor-saving devices like peelers, pressure cookers, washing machines, and all this definitely helps to save time and energy. Last of all, to begin with, we move to changes in end product. Every family has certain standards for housekeeping. Certain traditions are maintained by big families. So for this reason, what we find is that suppose in olden days, sags used to be cooked in a kadhai. But today we can cook the sag in a pressure cooker and blend it in the mixer grinder. So in this way, what we find is that we'll get the end product, but there will be a slight difference. Hence, family members and those at work should be willing to accept that the end product may not be the same as what they would have got in the traditional manner. Because today we find that housewives no longer grind the masalas with their hands, but they use a mixer grinder. And many times the elders in the family think that the masala made in the mixer grinder is not so tasty. So the end product is different. And this has to be accepted. Because certain traditions which are followed by families over the years needs to be changed. So an initiative has to be taken up to save time and energy. Because there are certain time consuming tasks which can be finished in a shorter time if we change the procedure of making it. And this has to be accepted that the end product may not be the same as olden days. So with this, we finish off with work simplification. So we'll continue more with the next topic in our next class. Thank you.